everyone, Namaste. My name is Saagar Gupta and I'm very excited to welcome you all to this special screening of award-winning Israeli documentary feature, Jonathan Agassi Saved My Life. This screening is the Indian premiere of the film and part of KASHISH year-round programs facilitated by KASHISH Mumbai International Queer Film Festival and is sponsored by Israeli Embassy in India. The film link has already been shared with all the registered participants here, and those who present here and have already seen the documentary will agree with me that how often we overlook to understand and respect the adult film industry performers as fellow human beings. Glad that this documentary fairly portrays Jonathan as the adult film star as well as a human being and a son. We are very happy to announce that the film's director, Heymann, and Jonathan Agassi's mother, Anna Langer, are also with us here today. So we'll be soon starting the Q&A session with them along with Chitra Palekar and Sridhar Rangayan. And if you have any questions for either of them, please post it in Q&A box and we will take your questions from here. Now let me welcome the founder festival director of KASHISH MIQFF, Sridhar Rangayan, to take this ahead.
So Tomer, the first question is to you. Tell us, how did you meet Jonathan and how did you convince him to participate in the documentary?
So I will answer you, of course, about the first meeting which influenced my life and changed my life, maybe even forever. These meetings almost 11 years ago. I want to give a big thank you to Reuma from the Israel Embassy and your amazing film festival. It's really not obvious in these days to bring a movie like this, and it's a gate and maybe the way to meet the audience from all over India. And I really like your choices in your festival during the year. I shot My Love many years ago. So being here with this dark movie and very not simple movie. So in Hebrew we say Toda Rabba, a deep thank you to all of you cooperate this event and bring Anna to this conversation. And I hope we can create a deep, honest dialogue. That's the main purpose tonight. Honestly, I never heard about Jonathan Agassi before I start creating this movie. It's even surprised Jonathan when I meet Jonathan. I call him Jonathan. It was by accident. I just was one night, went to a local bar in Tel Aviv without knowing who is a bartender, and I saw a very free soul, free person, the way he treats people around him and the way he allowed himself to be so open. He was a bartender and I was just a client who wanted to have beer at the end of the night. And I just catch this person, his eyes, something about him without knowing the name. And a few months later, when I was shooting in the Israeli parade, like the gay parade, I met the same person. I said, "Who is this guy who's walking so free and give kiss to some guys and in the center of Tel Aviv?" And Israel in one hand, it's really open country for gays, but at the same time, it's conservative country. It's interesting place. There's both sides. So to realize it's someone like Jonathan that is feels so. I had jealousy. Honestly, I said, "Wow, I will never allow myself to be so open with my sexuality, and I probably will never behave like this person without knowing who is it." So I asked my friend, "Can you help me to meet this guy?" He said, "What do you mean this guy? This is Jonathan Agassi. You don't know his name?" I said, "No, I don't know. What's the story behind him?" He's the huge porn star right now in Israel. Everybody from the community, especially from the queer community, talked about him, know him. Don't pretend yourself. He blame me, Tomer. Honestly, because I'm not into porn in my life. Not then and now from a different reason while I'm doing the movie. Of course, I want to understand the industry. So I told him I must meet him. And the day after, walking to the local hotel in Tel Aviv, and Jonathan opened the door for me. It was a little bit strange situation because I think he was confused who I am, what's the reason I might come to meet him. It was, and then after 2, 3, 4 minutes, I told him, just not to make you confused about my reason and to be honest with you, my name is Tomer Heymann and I'm a film director and I want to follow your life. And then he went back full dress before he was almost half naked, and then he dressed himself, come with a casual suit, and smiled to me and say, "Hey, nice to meet you." and I don't remember, probably after 1 hour of conversation with Jonathan, I already was in love with him, and I felt this guy have strong charisma, honesty, the way he talked about himself. But I told him after like almost 1 hour that it's very important to me to know the family, the background, and hopefully one day also to go to see the parents if they exist. So he told me, like, leave, my father is, I don't remember if he told me my father is not in the picture. I don't have father. I have only mother, or the only meaningful person in my life is my mother, but she will never agree to be in a documentary that talked deeply about me as a porn star, later on as an escort guy. Forget about it. My mom, she's very shy. She's the opposite of me. I'm very out, she's in. She's living her life like, and I have 2 other brothers, sister and brother. But I told him, Jonathan, I really want to talk about you with her. And he gave me her number. And the day after, or maybe two, I don't remember, maybe 2 days later, I call Anna and we have a coffee. We met in a coffee in Florentine area. And I know I need her. She must be in the movie. So basically, that's the way I know Jonathan and Anna. And since then, they are part of my life. But the original conversation, dialogue, it was between me and people I never met and heard about them before.
So that's quite a story per se. But one of the things is, like, we have been noticing in your films, in the earlier films we showed at Kashish, You Shot My Love. In many of your films, you employ a fly-on-the-wall approach, which is quite effective, acting more as a silent observer than a documentarian. You know, how difficult is it to achieve this, being objective instead of being subjective? You know,
I never feel I'm objective. It doesn't matter if I'm in the movie or out of the movie. You know, some of my movies like Paper Dolls, it kind of scares me. I Shot My Love, The Queen Has No Crown. It's also about my life, my family, my partner, my boyfriend. So you see me. And in this case, Jonathan Agassi saved my life. It's about Jonathan and Anna, but still, I don't consider it as an objective movie. I see it almost like create a movie almost with Anna and Jonathan, because for me, it's a lot about trust between me and the protagonist, especially in a heavy and tough movie like this. So I always have the feeling that Anna and Jonathan give me something huge, that I need to respect, and I need it's we built a really deep trust to bring people to expose themselves so much. Anna and she will talk soon about herself, so I don't need to talk from Anna voice. But so it's hard to say it's objective, but still, I remember myself in a very problematic situation. For example, you know, was time that Jonathan saw me, hopefully also these days, as his secret friend, which means was time during the process of shooting the movie that Jonathan shared with me a lot of things, and he told me, hey, you're not going to talk with my mom. It needs to be really clear. The same time I'm fly back from Berlin, or I met him in London, and I have a very long session with Anna. So first of all, Jonathan was my best friend, and we created a very beautiful relationship. But in a very fast way, I found Anna as a good friend of mine. We were sitting for hours. And also the opposite. Anna was sitting with me, and not from, it's not about hiding. It's just about, she was sitting with me in her salon. It was in Holon, and she shared with me things that, and then she said, you know, it's between you and me. So what are you doing? Where is your commitment to Anna and Jonathan? And I felt I have strong commitment to the person I'm with. So if Jonathan asked me not to share things with Anna, even I know that it might hurt Anna, even I'm doing something that maybe also might be read as a problematic. What do you mean? You sit with someone and you don't? Yeah. Otherwise, I will lose the trust, and I will lose the possibility to gain Jonathan, that he will believe me also in the future. We jump to almost to the end of the movie only after bad things happened to Jonathan Agassi, when he was completely down in Berlin, and Anna and me were already together in the boat together, that we were really worried. That was the beginning of me saying, okay, I must go behind Jonathan, trust but I do it for Jonathan. That's what I felt. So I called to Anna, and we kind of bought the ticket together. I think she put half of the money, I put half of the money. I don't remember the detail, but I felt I need to take Jonathan from Berlin. I don't care right now about what he will think about me tomorrow, and I need to help to bring Jonathan back to Anna, to Israel. But almost for a couple of years, I know what you're talking about, being on a very edgy situation between all the family. Hopefully, inside of me, I had a feeling that they can still trust me. You know what I mean? Like I didn't betray them.
Cool. So my next question is like, I filmed my own documentary Breaking Free for 7 years, and I had like 400 hours of footage. And you have filmed Jonathan Agassi Saved My Life for 8 years. So you must have had a lot of footage per se. How did you decide what to keep and what to omit? Was it aesthetic decisions or content decision, or something to protect Jonathan?
It's true what you say right now. In some ways, I felt that I need to protect Jonathan from himself. And I was very surprised how radical Jonathan agreed to go with me in the movie. Because I was, as you said, I follow him for years. I have 100 of hours. I think I realized that I want more to show the backstage of the industry, not to do PR and wow, this is a beautiful scene and Jonathan is the best actor, which is true. And he got many awards for years. He was the most popular and famous gay actor in the porn industry. But after being to so many parties and follow him, I felt like I need to find, maybe part of my goal or my mission is to give access to people to jump to the backstage of the industry that you will never see. What I mean, when you see porn, usually what you see the result. Everyone looks sexy and beautiful and do it in the right place and millions of people sitting at home. But you don't really know what happened 10 minutes before the action. You don't really know what will be the day after, how many drugs they need to take, what's the situation with the producers. So one element that helped me to choose the variety of the materials is like to go with the honest side of Jonathan. Jonathan, what make him beautiful person and beautiful man is not only the outside, of course. He looks amazing and sexy, and the eyes and the lips and the body. When he was a porn star, and these days, after many years, he's still very, very, very attractive and charismatic man. But for me, the inside of Jonathan, the weak area of him, the places he was vulnerable, the places that he didn't have an answer, especially the places that start to go deeply to his souls, which means the history and the family. And I found myself more and more interesting about zoom out from the specific story about porn star and maybe to take it to a bigger range of audience. And look, today we are here talking in India, which is a beautiful country, but at the same time, I was very surprised in a good way. You choose to see the uncensored version, invite me and Anna. And I think it might connect to the idea that together with Jonathan and Anna, with the editor team, we realize we're not going to sell you a fake movie about fake life. You won't get that from us. And it's helped me to go all the way to this dark area also.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Tomer, for sharing these thoughts. I'm going to come back to you again, but before that, I want to talk to Anna Langer, the mother of Jonathan Agassi. We have this wonderful person, Chitra Palekar. She is a director, actress, speaker, writer, and mother of a lesbian daughter. She is one of the founder member of Swikar, the parent support group in India. So I would request Chitra Palekar to speak to Anna Langer and have a conversation mother to mother.
Hi, Anna. Thanks, Sridhar. Anna, let me tell you one thing before I start any questions, that I love the film. I think your son is extremely handsome.
Thank you. Please.
Thomas, and thank you, Anna, for giving us this opportunity to watch this film. It's not only because me, as a mother and as a mother of a lesbian daughter, as a woman, I have never been, I'm not into this, I've not seen this. It's a new world for me, you know. And I'm sure for most parents or most people who watch the film also, it must have been a very new experience. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm sure, at least for me. Now, it wasn't only because of that I loved the film. I loved it because you and Jonathan really opened your hearts, your lives to us. You were so vulnerable. You were so generous in sharing your lives with us. And that moved me. Throughout, it moved me. And now that Toma was talking, I almost had tears in my eyes all over again. So thank you so much. And now, coming back, were there any things in this film, because it was very raw, were there any things in this film which you thought should not be done, better not shoot, you know, like, because it seems Jonathan had said that unless my mother agrees, I'm not going to participate. So were there anything that you felt?
I tell you, the movie is about Jonathan's life. A lot of his life, are things that were hidden from my eyes, like his styles of life in Berlin, or I didn't really knew what's in the movie. I knew in big, but not in specific. And I only when I saw the movie after the premiere, I understood what is inside. I may say maybe I was a little bit naive, but I was also very open-minded about it. I am a person who appreciates art, and I knew Tomer from from his movies before, and we became in such a close friendship that I trusted him and Jonathan, of course, and it wasn't really my business. You know, it wasn't a movie about me, so I didn't take it so personally. Now, of course, it's different. But it's all the time stages of changing. And I'm going with it. I'm flowing with the change. I'm not fighting it.
Can I just add something shortly? Because now when Anna talked about, about the premiere in Jerusalem Film Festival, you have to understand, I want to share with the audience that might see the movie. So Anna was watching with 400 people in Jerusalem. Very tough situation, not only about her son, like also the idea that so many people right now will see Jonathan in his sex life, in his drugs. And I was afraid, and almost I was sure, because she was really shaky, and it was a very hard moment for her. And when we drove back, I think we didn't even stay at the hotel. And I told Anna, if you want to change something in the movie, it's your right. And then from now, in the next screening, tell me and I will take out the hard moment if it's too much for you. Even she gave me her permission already, of course. And then I think the day after she called me, or we met, and she told me it was one of the hardest moments in my life watching this movie as a mother, and a mother to Jonathan. It's not about someone. It's not about character. It's not about famous guy. It's my son. Do you understand what it means? You cannot understand what it means as a mother to see a movie like this. And still, Tomer, please don't change a movie. So I thought I'm not hearing very well. One hand, she told me how tough it's for her, and she was not able to sleep. I think she had a night without sleeping, and immediately, and it's the same sentences, I remember it like it's today. don't dare to change. Jonathan need to see it, and I need to see it. From here, Anna can take it. Just remind Anna that the two side of her being like this, she was really like this, and at the same time support me in a way that I was shocked, and it amazed me.
Anna, as Tomer said that you have, I know we all saw that you are a very courageous woman, but I want to ask you that in the film, I think you accepted him just when he came out, when he was about 14 or so, a young teenager. Okay,
Yes.
from that time to this day, you have accepted him at every stage, success or failure, good things, bad things. That's full of courage. But I want to ask you, as a mother to mother, were you afraid of things at times? I mean, maybe courageous, but were you afraid for him? Did you, if there were, what were the fears? When he was young, they must be different. When he was slightly older, they must be different. When he was a big porn star and then an escort, then, okay, you may or may not know about drugs, but whatever. So what were your fears at various stages of Jonathan's life? Can you tell me, please? Share with us.
Yes, yes. My life with Jonathan was almost all the time fear and worried. I was all the time worried about him, even when he was very, very little. 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, and so on. He was always living on the edge. It is he like this. He is living on the edge. And as a mother, you all the time know that he's okay now, but he easily can fall down and break a leg, an arm, his soul. And me and Jonathan, we have a bond since he was very little, that I am his protector, and I am his wall of strength. So I had to be strong for him all the time, but I also have to calm myself all the time, to be okay. But I was all the time really scared about Jonathan. Oh, if it was okay, since he was out with his sexuality, I was afraid all the time, because I knew that we live in a strange community that doesn't accept everyone. And I was afraid and worried for his future and for his now. He was coming home beaten, and people were really, children can be really bad sometimes. And this was when he was little. And when he grew up, I knew inside of me that he's going to a very dark place for me. And I knew that everything that is dangerous, it's in this area. Like drugs, greedy people, bad people. And I was, of course, afraid for his soul, for his body and soul. And I also was afraid a lot that I'm not a good mother, that I don't know how to do my best. I did my best, but I all the time thought that it's not enough. And so I lived in fear most of my years till now. Now I feel free. but I'm 60 now. So it's about time, but it's not really. I wasn't free all my life. I was in fear all my life, and that's why, that's why maybe this movie, from one side, make me so complete, because I said, this is the whole truth. This is who I am, and this is who is Jonathan, and this is the whole truth. When I know somebody, he knows it already. He knows who I am. He knows my life. I don't live in fear anymore. I am free. And it's also stages of state of mind.
Beautiful.
Thanks
And
so
you
much.
know something, Anna? It's because you have been afraid, and yet you have gone beyond that. You have crossed it. And I hope this would be a great inspiration and to all the parents, because you do feel anxious, not only because they are queer or something, but then like you, going beyond that, standing by your child, accepting the child in every possible difficulty is really amazing.
Thank you so much. I want to tell you, I want to tell you something really that I'm thinking about it. I think that fear is only a gate. It's only a gate. And it's the symbol that you must go through the gate. You must go.
Wonderful.
And after, you don't have this fear anymore. I believe.
Would you say this to all our Indian parents? Because here we are still explaining to them concepts. I mean, obviously, it doesn't really matter, because our, criminality of queer, the thing went only in 2018. So we are still telling them through Swikar and through other NGOs, to our parents group, what is gay, what is, we are giving them explaining different ideas to them. We are still explaining the various, sexual orientations, and people are scared, because we also we are modern, progressive, and at the same time orthodox, and we are like joint families. So what would you say to the parents? I mean, you are such an example, inspiration.
I would like, I don't know. I think the most important thing for a parent is the child. And if I put my child from one side and society from another side, of course my child will take it easily. I used to think that I don't care much about what people think, or what my parents think, my closest one, what they think. This is what's bugging us in our head, because we come with what we learned from our parents and what they told us. So it's something that we have to change from the bottom, to be with what's important, our children.
Wonderful.
Because the past doesn't matter. The past doesn't matter. And the past, it's of course, it's changing all the time. So why we should be locked in the past?
But Anna, as you said in the film once, you said that I have to look after everybody. I have 3 children.
Yes.
What I say is, Jonathan, I shouldn't say fortunate and not fortunate, but I have only one daughter. So I don't have to worry about her siblings, in any case. And she's accepted by everybody. However, you had 3 children, and they were also two more children, and they were also very honest. They said about loving him, and at the same time, there were little resentment. So how did you deal with that?
This was really tough, but it's tough all the time. It's all the time I have this competition. Who like, for real, I love all of them, but in reality, only Jonathan make me scared all the time. So I had to be with him all the time. And of course, it was like a competition. It's like, why? You like him more? You love him more? He is more important. And they really had the right to think this way. But it's not my truth. When they were small, I tried all the time for them to know that I am on Jonathan's side, and that they should be also on this side. But not always it's possible. Sometimes, my daughter is so shy and she's so different from Jonathan. And my other son is almost religious in his mind. So it's very, very hard to build a bridge. It's not really a bridge. Sometimes it's okay and sometimes it's not. I have to accept it. You cannot reach everything on these situations. You must try, but it's not possible to make everybody happy equally. It's not.
Thank you. Thank you for being as honest in this Q&A as you have been in the film. Thank you
so much. Thank you.
I just have one question from the audience to Anna before I move to Tomer. Anna, how did you and Jonathan respond to the finished film when you saw it for the first time?
Oh, well, it was a big premiere in Jerusalem. At the end of the movie, I felt like there were scenes in the movie that I felt a little bit like a dead person, like someone who just at this minute died. But of course, because it was a premiere and so many people and such a big event, and Jonathan is with me, so I cannot express everything like I want to, but so it takes time. It takes time to understand what's going on there. And of course, I was thinking about how did I miss things like this? How I didn't know, or how I didn't ask more. I should ask more, because I felt all the time to give him privacy and not to bug him too much, and so I didn't knew a lot of things. I knew about drugs, but I didn't know how it looks and what it makes to him. I saw it in the movie. So it's different when you talk with your son on Skype and he said, he's very beautiful all the time, you know, and he said, no, I'm okay, I eat, I dress, I do it, I do. And then you see in the movie, exactly the same minute, what was really from the other side. So it's a little bit shocking, you know, the distance between the truth and what you think it was truth.
Well said, Anna. Thank you so much. I'll come back to you for more questions later. But Tomer, a couple of questions for you. One is like, how did you get access to the father, Jonathan's father? Was it difficult to meet him because Jonathan has kind of cut off relationship with him? To take him back, and for even Jonathan, it must have been difficult. But how was it for you to traverse that journey with the father?
For a while, I was sure we won't touch the father part in the movie because Jonathan, the way he talked about it, and say he's not part of my life. And again, I don't remember what kind of excuses he used, but it was clear that I won't have access to the father. His name is Raviv. So I was focused about Anna and the brother Shachaf, beautiful person, the brother of Jonathan that agreed to be part of the movie, Lior, the sister, which you have a strong scene with her, and Anna. When we were shooting Jonathan in Berlin, it was the same apartment Jonathan got from the company, and it was the same place that while he was shooting the porn movies in the same apartment, if I remember it correctly, I think it was the same apartment that later on he stayed for himself. So it told me one day, hey, I have a message on Facebook for my father. Or he just mentioned briefly the father. I said, what do you mean? Your father is around? He said, he says, Tomer, we are in Berlin. My father is living 3 blocks from the apartment that I'm doing my porn movies when I'm part of this group who's doing the porn movie, and 10 minutes from here, my father's apartment. And I said, Jonathan, why you didn't show it before? I mean, you know, it's really important to me and relevant to the project. He said, you know, but for which reason? It's not part of my life. And also, Tomer, there's nothing to talk about it. There's nothing to talk about it. And he repeats himself constantly, like kind of, hey, nothing interesting around. So I told him in a very simple way, can I have access to your father? Can we talk to your father? He said, of course, take the number and call him. And I talked to Raviv, and he told me, yeah, I'm living not far away from Jonathan. And I asked him, can you join us to one of the shooting days? I mean, it was Wednesday. Let's say, can you come Friday? And I want to shoot it. And he said, no problem, I will come to Jonathan's house. I didn't visit there either ever, or I don't remember if he, and that was basically the very simple way to know that Raviv exists. Between me and Raviv, I have to be honest, and it's hard to me because, you know, Anna carries different memories, and Anna have issue with Raviv, which later on I realized what in the real package, you know, what behind the story. Between me and Raviv was I even can say a nice relationship, you know? I respect him, he respects me. He came to the apartment. What was interesting, and that's what I like about Jonathan Agassi Save My Life, is really share with you what happened. When he came up to the 3rd floor and we were with the camera, he opened the door, and I told to the cameraman, probably we're going to have 20, 30 minutes because they're not going to talk about anything important. And Jonathan said, okay, my father is coming. What can I talk with him about? There's no reason to stay for more than half an hour. And then you saw it in the movie. In the original footage, it's almost a 3.5 hours conversation. And I felt, and it's happened in documentary sometimes, it's very important point right now to talk about, that sometimes you with your camera, you kind of encourage or you give power to the people you are following. That's what it's not by words, but I felt that I'm there with Jonathan, and in this time, me and Jonathan were really, really good friends. And it was almost the first time that Jonathan stood up and dared. And he was already like a man around, I think he was already 25 or 27 or 28. He was not a baby anymore. It was first time he dared to talk basic question and to ask about the truth. So that was the way I know Raviv. And I was a little bit shocking from the situation because I saw Jonathan. I felt a little bit manipulation, but I was not sure about it. And at the same time, I saw, wow, so there's another story. There's Anna here, Raviv is here, and Jonathan. And of course, you see it in the movie that Jonathan is really like when he talked to Raviv or between Anna and Raviv, he started to be this, not a baby, but a young kid, you know, because he want peaceful between the parents, and the father have one narrative, the mother have another narrative. And we talked about the movie, maybe later on I will say more about it, but basically the movie is more about this, about relationship inside of the family and what is the truth. And then when I spoke with Anna and I got Anna point of view and Anna perspective and Anna narrative, I felt, wow, what will be the next step? What will be like, I didn't know. But in general, for me, was very important that once Raviv came to Israel to see the movie with Jonathan, and Anna told Jonathan, I need to be there with you. So Anna came to the cinema and didn't go Center Left Cinema. Raviv was visiting Israel after the movie was out in Israel, and he need to see the truth of the movie. So for me, it was a strong moment, maybe the beginning of healing process in some way. For Jonathan, maybe for Raviv, Anna can talk about herself.
Anna, you want to share a bit of about your husband, and what do you think? What the film portrays is what you felt. You know? It's a tough question, I know. Sorry.
I have nothing. All I did for the children. Nothing is like I don't feel any connection to this person. I just when he came to Israel to see the movie, I said to myself, I am out of the picture. I'm giving all the opportunities for them to be father and son. I let the things to go by themselves, and I accept everything. It was okay, but nothing really developed after. It doesn't make the relationship to be closer or to create any relations. So most of the time I'm mad about this guy. I cannot forgive, or things are static in that position. I don't.
Thank you for being honest. Tomer, there's a question from the audience. Why is the film titled Jonathan Agassi Saved My Life? Must have been asked this question many times, of course, but for my audiences.
This sentence basically came from Jonathan's voice. In one of the interview with Jonathan Agassi, he told me, you know, Tomer, I'm sometimes confused about this persona, Jonathan Agassi. One hand being Jonathan Agassi, not anymore Jonathan and Langer, Elkanah, the old Jonathan. Once I have this new persona, I'm strong, I have power, I can control people. People want to be with me, people want to pay to be with me. So it's put me, many years in my life, I was in a very low peak on my life. I was needy and I was kind of pleased too much people. And now with Jonathan Agassi, and by this he told me, I think Jonathan Agassi saved my life. That was 3 years before the last scenes that we were shooting the movie. And later on, for me, I felt it's a little bit ironic, and also talking with Jonathan, I have a doubt about it. So Jonathan Agassi, this in one hand, it saved his life from being very miserable and maybe being kind of left over by the society, being feminine, gay. Everyone talked to him very ugly. Anna talked about his childhood in a very careful way. You know, children came with knife to Jonathan, knife here, and he went to school, and Anna talked about it in the movie, when as a mother, you come to your school and all the kids push your son and almost kind of to commit a suicide or to jump. It's create a mess in your soul. So Jonathan Agassi, this new persona, saved his life and took him to a new journey to be much more successful, powerful man in this tough life. But later on, you realize that also it might destroy his life because, you need to, it's come with a very heavy price. Being this successful persona for some millions is at night doing something and admire you, but then why they want to be with you? If you don't give them your body, if you don't give them your beauty, they don't want to be with you. And then you need another drugs and more drugs. And you see it in the movie. I was witness for 24/7 for, crazy situation. So then I felt, is it save him? Is it destroyed him? It's an open question. And I like the title, and I felt it might send audience with a question mark about the heavy price that you might pay with admiration and fame.
Very interesting title. Very intriguing.
So I just want to ask Anna, so what is, there's an audience question per se. How is he doing now? There's this person in India who's been following Jonathan Agassi on Instagram, and he's very curious to know how is he doing now.
Jonathan is this day, not only these days, already 3 years. That is completely normal, like regular job, not a sex job, no drugs, very, very clean and very, very trying to live normally. He's succeeding very, very well on being normal. And this is it looks maybe funny, but it's not easy for a person who comes from his world of glory and success and big money to be ordinary suddenly. But I'm so proud of him because he really,
Yes.
it's important to him to remain. He have this fight all the time, for addicted people. It's all the time a little war inside, and he's winning on the war. So I say thanks God. It's very well. He remained very beautiful, and inside and out, and it's like everything that didn't touch him, his soul. It's very good. Thank you.
Fantastic.
I just want to add something about what Anna said right now. I even maybe use, or the way I will talk about it is not so much about normally or not normally, because I don't think he was not normally before, or other people who is part of it normal. I don't know what is anymore normal. And in this case, I'm sometimes careful because, the judgmental from the outside society about for some people, I'm not normally. I'm gay, I'm living with someone, I have 2 kids with their common mothers. Who know what is normal these days? But what I take from Anna is the idea that Jonathan cannot talk with us this today. It's very sad for audience. Everyone wants to talk with Jonathan, I know it. But the reason that he says, no, Tomer, I have commitment. I'm a head of a local supermarket in Tel Aviv. I have responsibility. I have a good salary. And he show me every day. Still people ask him, hey, can I come to have sex with you? Can you work with me, on this level? For almost 4 or 5 years. He's completely out from the industry, and people that were part of the sex industry, man or woman, it's very tough to say no to this, easy money, and the idea that if someone wants you, your ego is really high, and like it's give you kind of support. So nothing. He cut himself from application, from escorting, from drugs. Anna was part of this cleaning of drugs. It happened in her apartment. And for years, even he is afraid to go sometimes to parties. I told him, let's celebrate, like the successful of the movie. Let's go to this club and say, Tomer, in my case, I need to listen to myself and I need to be careful. Let's go to have whatever, pizza or beer, and I will be with you. So we have a very high awareness, which this is amazing. Without the drugs, without the sex issues, high awareness to protect himself, and to have his own apartment, living by himself with 2 dogs and going to a very good job and smiling. And I think 2 months ago or 2 months ago, around his birthday, he says, people, maybe you still remember me as I was a young Jonathan and you admire me. I was not happy. Even I was I was younger, more sexy, more beautiful. Now I'm different. But inside of me, it's my best time of my life. And it was so beautiful to read it. And of course I called him and I saw now you want to say something, but that was in last September, his birthday, September, I think 26 or 29, Jonathan's birthday, wrote 29. And it was beautiful message to the world. Look, the outside, as I'm looking right now, and they look amazing, but you felt his energy to the world. It's something new and fresh with very optimistic message, and he also helps so many young people with amazing example by talking about it and not escape it and not hide it. Share the truth, and only by this help people to go through problem in life.
Wow. And I'm sure, everything must have been possible only because of Anna's support. Anna's support to him has been so crucial in him, the way he's going to be leading his future life. That's right.
Before I give to Chitra, it's true that Anna's support, and I'm a big fan of Anna, she knows it, so she will do that. Anna's support is amazing, but it's not because of Anna's support, because Anna's support also Jonathan for years when he was in Berlin. Something changed inside of Jonathan with the help of Anna, but Anna was there for years. Anna hates the porn world also from beginning. Anna don't use drugs. These heavy drugs. Anna not addicted to alcohol, So for years she support him. I think the turning point was, and when even maybe I think even the movie, the mirror about himself, watching himself, lost himself. If some of the people will join the movie later on, and we'll see Jonathan in this crisis saying, "This was me. I don't remember it." So, with the help of Anna, what changed right now, or a couple of years ago, something about Jonathan help himself to change the the journey of life.
And I want
to
sure.
To post, may I?
Yeah, please.
Tomer or Anna, what were the reactions in other countries where you showed the film to this film? Some interesting or different type of reactions. Did you have any?
Anna will tell you a lot, because Jonathan and Anna met thousands of people in Israel. Before the first screening, Jonathan and Anna, I don't know if they remember it, they were afraid to go to meet people because they told me they're going to hate us in Israel. Even Anna and Jonathan have this kind of image about Israel audience, and Anna and Jonathan also says either they won't come to see the movie, and later on this movie got the Israeli Oscar, and so many people came to the cinema. First, the queer community, lesbian, trans, many gay came. The parents, the brothers, the sisters, the psychology, psychiatry, lawyers. It was crazy. And reaction were between shocking and sometimes even blaming me or blaming Anna or blaming Jonathan. But mainly, from my point of view, maybe 90% of the people were like, wow, when Anna and Jonathan were with me in the cinema. And thank you. It's helped me to understand something about my life. And it was really strong to hear it. And now I'm sure Anna have much more stories. But you remember at the beginning, you were afraid to meet audience?
Yes, I couldn't believe, I couldn't face it. I couldn't face it. Like, I was so afraid of what everybody was going to say about me, about Jonathan, but it was like immediate change. Maybe for the first time that we spoke with the audience, I started to feel more relaxed, and I got so much love from the people, and Jonathan got so much love that I think that the people that saw the movie changed me, because the reflection of the love that I got from the people made me understood that I was okay. I wasn't so bad like I thought I am. And it was a really big change. And always, and I learned to understand that what matters is really, people do matter. It does matter. It's so important. We went to so many places, to Moscow, and to places that are really strong. The politics is so strong that there is no place for people. And we come with this movie and talk about it. And I could really felt like I'm doing something really important.
And I remember in Moscow, for example, a young mother came to Anna in Moscow, very homophobic place. We cannot just, the wall with Chechnya and Moscow, and right now in Poland, and right now in Hungary, and this area, and probably also in India and in other countries, it's very high level of homophobia, and we need to talk about it. And a young mother came to Anna, and she told her, you changed the way I see myself as a mother. And this is the biggest compliment for Anna that she, not only she was a good mother, for me it was clear from the beginning that she went through fears and allowed herself to expose her story in a movie, and by this helping other people to go to this healing process with themselves. And if you remember, Anna, we start with young guys came to you as a gay people, ask your advice, but slowly we saw mothers and sisters and young mother. You are 60, we're talking about 20, 25, came to you and asked your advice, how to deal with a problematic child. What are you doing when your child have a choice that is against your value? I also want to hear you. What is the movie about? The movie, if people right now join us to this conversation, even it's a very tough movie. Jonathan Agassi Saved My Life is not about porn. It's not about sex. It's not about drugs. This is outside the frame. This is a costume. Inside is about mother and son. It's about a child that wish to have the love of his father. For me, the sentences from the movie, sometimes it's a whole movie when Jonathan say, I send videos to my father and I spoke, hey, father, hey, papa, hey, I want to talk to you. Where are you? But the father was far away, didn't care. So it's also about not taking responsibility for all the men around. It's not about being gay, all the straight men. Where are you? You have one night stand, you have that story with a woman and you forget your responsibility. You just give your sperm to someone and, hey, there's a child behind it, behind the one night stand. You know what happened in there? So I just say that it was really beautiful to see at the end of the screening a line of young mothers or old mothers from all over the world waiting, not for me, waiting for her. I even don't know what they talked about, but I felt the energy that they want to be close to Anna, that they have the privilege to be near this woman for a short time, and they want to hug her or to share something.
That's brilliant. I think that's really the way to go. Anna, there's a question from the audience member. You can take it to Jonathan per se. Would Jonathan consider being a spokesperson or a motivational speaker to help others like him to get out of addiction and being a porn star. So I don't know whether you have an answer or you can take it back to Jonathan and ask him. And yeah,
Of
Of course.
of course, of course. Jonathan did it a few times when he was invited. He was invited to speak about, and he was really doing it with a heart of his heart was full to do it, but not many applications come. It's like if you will be invited, of course, but I don't know. It's not
Okay.
happening like.
Thanks a lot. Just last question, because we're really running out of time. Tomer, any future films which you're making? Any new subject matter? Are we going to see some films at Kashish next year or the next year after that? How can we bring you to Kashish?
This movie, Jonathan Agassi Saved My Life, was so part of my life. And so for a couple of years, I was not able to do anything else, either because I want to travel with Jonathan and Anna with this movie and to meet audience. I also felt very empty. It was a very strong moment in my life, meeting Jonathan and Anna and have the ability to tell the story. Only now, after almost 11 years of knowing them and 2 years since the premiere in Jerusalem, I start to feel again the smell of the passion to create something else. It's a very special, unique movie also for me as a filmmaker. I've been through a very long career, almost 25 projects, and all of my movies I really like. But Jonathan Agassi Saved My Life. This is part of my heart and my life. So it was not easy immediately to jump to the next project. I even felt I want to respect and to honor this moment, and also to be with Jonathan and Anna, not only in the dark side of life, to see them growing up as mother and son, and differently. Anna, she's 60. Now she's independent. Now Anna, she's taking care about herself. Go to Anna Langer website. She's one of the most amazing artists you ever see in your life. The way she took her sadness, painful moment, happy moment, funny. If you see, even Anna now create for Israeli people one of the most beautiful masks with her inside wall. She do it by herself, and the picture in her on her wall. So also to be with the Anna, not only the mother. Now I want to talk about Anna, the artist. And go to her website, Facebook, Anna Langer. You understand what I'm talking about. You really want to have a piece of art from Anna. After saying this, that was part of my life. Now I want to complete a movie about character. He's an Asperger teenager boy. I met him while I was meeting Anna and Jonathan. His name is Oren Levy, and I joined him to Guatemala to meet his parents, because he was adopted by beautiful parents from Jerusalem. And right now the title is Maybe I'm Not, and it's also, from my point of view, very powerful movie that I will be more than happy to come with the help of the Israel Embassy, with השגרירות הישראלית and Reuma, and with you. And to be guest of your film festival, it will be, I think Anna will agree with me when I told her, wow, we have premiere in India, in your film festival, and we say, wow. And we know we are going to be there. We're going to be there. And so first of all, I want to tell you from my place that it's not another screening. It's not another conversation. What came out today from Anna, I didn't hear for years. It was pure. It was pure moment that I felt we shared today with your audience.
Thank you. And also because Chitra was there, Chitra being our mother herself, having a conversation with Anna was really special for us per se. Chitra has had her own journey and her own battles. Both of you are heroes, both of you. So great. Thank you for all of you for joining in. Yeah, Chitra, go ahead.
There's a last sentence from the film, which I want to say. It's a sentence which she says in the film right at the beginning. And that sets the whole film on a certain course. She said at one point when the films came for Jonathan and they opened the parcel and something for religions, she opened another parcel, and then he says, "Oh, I love the film up to here, but now we'll be going up to have sex, so that's not for you." And she smiles and she says, "Well, each one to his own religion." You know, I mean, that is the core of humanity, according to me. You know, each one to his own religion, whatever.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Sridhar. Thank you, Saagar.
And
Thanks
big
a lot.
hello to all of you, to the people who listen to us, from Jonathan himself. Jonathan right now worked really hard. He probably will see it later on. And he asked me to tell you that he's really sorry he cannot talk with you, but he completely with you. And one day he also will be invited by your festival, this amazing festival, to talk with audience. But for me today is all from love to Jonathan, and Jonathan send his love to you.
Thanks a lot. Really appreciate. Thanks to the Embassy of Israel to facilitate this. Really appreciate them supporting this particular screening. And thanks to all of you for making time to be here with us.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, and have a beautiful festival this year. Thank you.
Thank you.